edition of the Bullheaded Podcast. I'm your host, per usual, Sean Tyson, here with Zoo and P. Bush. How you guys doing?
Doing all right, man. Rather stressed from this Bulls performance last weekend, man. I told my roommate sometimes, man, I just wish my team would tank so I don't have to stress during playoff times. But we're here. I'm excited. Bulls gave them a better fight than I thought they would, and there have been some interesting games and there have been some blowouts. So typical first round in the NBA, man.
Man, that Bulls-Bucks game, man, gave me a heart attack, man. Gave me massive anxiety. It got me depressed. It got me happy. It got me sad, man. Circle of life, that Bulls game, man. Dude, I don't know. You should have saw my first face in the first 5 minutes of that game, man. I was like, what the hell is going on, man? What the hell is going on? 9-0 run. Come on, cut. Come on, cut. I believed in this team.
Nope.
And they started like that. They had some fight, man, but they got put down, man. They got put down at the end. It was a sad ending.
Yeah, when I didn't watch the game, but when I went back and looked at the highlights, when I saw Patrick Williams get the foul call and the box out, I was like, that's a star call for Giannis. That's definitely a star call. I
said, man. 5 fouls, man.
If you don't think Giannis has arrived, that call right there signifies that he's a superstar now, because that was a tough call for your Bulls fan. Like,
that was BS, man. That's what it was. That was BS, man. I don't know how they
gone.
That, man.
Yeah. So the NBA definitely knew what they were doing with that call. So, we're going to be talking about Bulls and Bucks, but we're going to kind of start off with the Eastern Conference, which I guess is in the Bulls and Bucks are in the division they're in, and just talk about more so what they see so far with the playoffs. I know it's early, 2 games in for most teams. But I just want to ask their first impressions of what they see in the playoffs. And people, I'm gonna start with you.
Well, I guess I'll let Zoo talk about Bulls Bucks, so I'll give him that present right there. But the other series I've been watching, man, and I think one that a lot of people were excited about was Celtics Nets for sure. Mm-hmm. Just getting a solid team that has arguably been the hottest team in the league probably since the January, February mark in the Celtics. I think you could argue them and the Grizzlies. Suns don't count, man. They've been hot all year. But if you're looking for a hot start team, the Celtics have really turned it around. I know Zoo a couple podcasts ago talked about, their adjustments on the defensive end. And we saw that come to fruition on how they played Kevin Durant, man. Yes. I think he had
that was unbelievable.
Maybe 2 to 3 open shots all game. If you want to talk, that might have been the best I've seen Kevin Durant guarded in years. Yeah. And it was a team effort. But at the same time,
he got blocked multiple times.
Yeah. And you never see that. Never see that. Especially with the guy with his wingspan and height, man. It's ridiculous. So, looking at that game, you look at the Celtics side, I thought they played a near perfect game. I mean, they had 4 starters with 20-plus points. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Tatum at his 31. Al Horford getting 20 and 15. That's not acceptable if you're the Nets. I don't care.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Not gonna lie.
Al
Horford shows up in the playoffs, man.
For some reason, he always does.
He hits the open threes. He plays his really good defense, really good passer of the basketball.
Like, slow mover. You never know which way he's going to go.
For real.
But then you look at, Kyrie putting on an absolute show, pretty much proving that it didn't matter that he left or didn't play for a while. This guy puts up 39. Durant, I think he was 9 of 20 at the end of the game, which for an average player isn't a horrible shooting percentage. But if you're trying to beat a team that's going to be playing perfect on both sides of the ball, you need to match that. Drummond's foul trouble caused a lot of issues. But for me, I think that this was actually more telling for the Celtics. If you have to play perfect, or if you do play perfect at home and you only win on a game-winning layup when you were down 1, I don't see this series going your way. I don't care who you're playing against. Obviously, having Kevin Durant on the other side doesn't help their cause going forward in these next, 4, 5, 6 games. But man, I do think that this told the Celtics that, hey, we have to nearly play a perfect game every single time. And if Kevin Durant decides to make some adjustments, I think the series is going to be over in 6 in the Nets' favor. So
interesting.
I think that this was telling, I think, more so for the Celtics, at least for me, because we know what the Nets could do, man.
Yeah, like watching that game, man, like Kyrie Irving, I think it's one of his best playoff games I've ever seen in my entire life, man. His isolation game, his pull-up 3 game, his craftiness, like his ability to destroy a Celtics defense, that is unbelievable. And like, there's legitimately nothing to do to stop Kyrie Irving. And pretty much this dude putting a middle fingers in the middle of the game and draining threes and the face of the defenders, man. Like what he's done against this Celtics team. I'm just like, wow. He put up a masterpiece type of game, man. Came up short because of Kevin Durant, man. Oh, my Lord. Not going to lie. First couple quarters, dude, KD, I never seen KD get so distraught by a defense. Like the last time I seen him get so distraught was probably the Memphis Grizzlies, probably like a half decade ago with Tony Allen locking down Kevin Durant. But this time you saw KD get the ball stripped multiple times. Like the dude had 6 turnovers. Like guy got blocked multiple times. Like and he was just missing shots too.
Yep.
Like he was missing shots. I didn't really like the last shot that they got for KD, try to win the game. I'd rather have like a Kyrie Irving action because he had a masterpiece going while KD was just cold as ice. Like he had one of his worst playoff games ever. So
yeah,
KD had one of his worst games ever. Kyrie had one of his best playoff games ever. And pretty much this game was a coin flip game, man. If Jason Tatum don't pull that off, man, Brooklyn Nets, man. Like
they still would have won it.
Exactly. So I'm saying, like I agree with you, man. Brooklyn Nets fans should feel pretty good because KD ain't gonna do that again, man. He ain't gonna do that again against this defense. So Kevin Durant, if he's just average, like that was awful, KD. Like I give him on a letters grade scale, I give him an F. That was a failure of a performance for Kevin Durant standards. That was embarrassing. He cost his team the game. Even on the last play, Jason Tatum with the cut. That was KD's man.
Yeah, he had a brain lapse.
Yeah, he had a brain fart, man. Actually, I would say the entire Nets team. Like people were just panicking all over the place. 2 people ran out for Marcus Smart, little pump fake. They were scattered, man. KD was, I don't know, he was in no man's land, just looking at the ball, doesn't know what's going on. Jason Tatum, man, with the cut, the spin layup, high IQ play, man, getting it done with the buzzer, man. My Lord, that was a beautiful game.
It was.
I'm just hoping. I want 7-game series.
Yeah,
I think
for game 1.
Yeah, I'm like the talent on both sides, elite. Like, and they're not even fully powered yet. You got Robert Williams on ice. You got Ben Simmons on ice. So maybe they come in game 4, game 5. So we ain't even seen the best of the talent available on these 2 rosters right now. So both these teams, man, both Eastern Conference contenders, man, in the first round, man, sort of reminds me of the San Antonio Spurs versus LA Clippers back in the day that went 7 games that the CP3 Clippers were able to pull off because both these teams, man, they are both elite in their conferences.
Yeah, they are.
Very. I will say Boston defensively, how they just came out like just ferocious and really playing a lot of one-on-one, just keeping Kevin Durant flustered. I'm also concerned if that could be consistent as the series goes on because I feel like game 1 of the playoffs, everybody, not saying everybody's fresh, but it's just you have that intensity. You're at home. You kind of just feel like, okay, this is the tone we want to set. I kind of would like to see in game 5 or 6 if they still have that same intensity of wanting to guard and compete like that. They've been doing it all season, but it's just, I feel like it's a little bit more difficult when you're guarding Kevin Durant over and over because that's not an easy task.
No.
So, like you say, if I'm Brooklyn, I'm not too disappointed. I'm kind of just irritated that, if Kevin Durant just plays like a notch better, they win that game pretty comfortably. So I think if Boston can get this game 2, then I'm more confident that it probably goes 7 because then I feel like each team is going to just win on their home floor. Then it's going to be, I guess it would come to a very interesting game 7 in Boston. And I will say Boston does have a pretty steep advantage when it comes to the home crowd. So that could get pretty crazy. But like you say, Kyrie and KD, man, they're just, we always worry about the ancillary pieces sometimes with teams, but when you have 2 guys, in particular like KD and Kyrie, who at any moment can just get hot and how they're able to score really, like, especially Kyrie with him being a smaller guard, he just can score really easily. And I think it really speaks to Kyrie's shot-making ability and his shot, period. Like, Kyrie has a really good shot. Like, I don't think it gets talked about more about, like, how he's never really gets put in, like, one of the greatest shooters of all time, but Kyrie's up there. Because his shots usually are like difficult to make at first, and usually when he makes them, it's not like a hitting the back of the rim and going in. They're usually pure, so it's kind of like he's a shot maker and he can make shots. And when he's open, he's one of the rare guards. When he's wide open, it's like automatic. Like he rarely misses wide open shots. So it's going to be interesting with them in that series. I don't know what I'm going to take from game 2 if the Nets come out and storm and win the game. I don't think it's going to be an indication of the series is going to be wrapped up quick, but this is definitely the most interesting series in the East because a lot of people were picking Brooklyn because it's just you got the 2 best players, And, as we go along in this podcast, usually when you just have the best players on the floor, you're going to end up winning the series. So, I don't know who else in the East. I know Zoo is chopping at the bits maybe to talk about the Bucks and the Bulls, but I think that was the Bulls' only chance, man. I think that game won, man.
The only thing I'll say is I don't think that they have no chance to win the series, I don't think. But if Vucevic plays the way he did in game 1, I think that they'll keep it competitive pretty much from game to game. DeMar DeRozan he pretty much lost in that game overall. You could argue Zach Levine took a bad shot. Vucevic missed a layup. But DeRozan did not play to what he needs to be playing, the level he needs to be playing at.
Well, that's kind of the storybook on him in the playoffs. So
yep.
I don't know if you guys have probably watched him in Toronto, but
yeah.
Yeah. DeMar DeRozan, man, I thought we had the king of the fourth, man. He turned to DeFrozen, man. DeMar DeFrozen in the playoffs. It was so sad, man. Instead of being a White Walker murdering everyone, he's the peasants up there in the north that got frozen up and eaten up, man. That's what happened, man.
Game of Thrones reference for nobody.
That's what happened, man. That's what happened, getting eaten up, those villagers, man. That's what DeMar DeRozan was doing. Missing every mid-range. Like, every mid-range.
Yeah, every time.
I'm like, okay, he's getting his looks, a little mid-range pull-up, and I don't know. I don't know if it's the defense. Like, I don't know if Wesley Matthews is just that good at defense. Maybe Wesley Matthews is just one of the greatest defenders of all time. Because, oh my Lord, this dude just locked down DeMar DeRozan, man. Like, legitimately, I'm looking at his entire career as a Chicago Bulls this year. This is his worst game of his entire career, and it's in the playoffs. Like, what are the odds of that? Like, there's something going on, man. Like, I feel like having a bad game. Like, come on. I want to see a performance. I want to see a masterpiece performance because Vucevic, that boy played his butt off.
Yeah.
He might have went 2 for 10 from 3, 20% for 3. Like, a couple of those
shot like 9 for 27, I think.
Yeah, he jacked up a lot of shots because
the only reason they were in it.
Yeah, the way the Bucks play with Brook Lopez, drop defense, you get open threes. So you gotta take the open threes, and he was like, he wasn't like bricking them off the back iron. It was like in and out. Okay, that's acceptable. No bricks. If you keep bricking them, no, you're an NBA player. No bricks allowed. So this dude in the post. Patient little jump hook action. Like, he was ferocious on the offensive glass. 17 total rebounds, physical presence, not soft at all. Like, Nikola Vucevic showed up. DeMar DeRozan, I'm gonna keep calling him that until it becomes Jon Snow, King of the Fourth. Until that happens, but he's gonna be DeRozan until he shows up. He gotta step it up, man. Someone needs to heat up. Zach Levine, he had a solid game until he got his fourth call. His fifth foul call, lost his rhythm, came back in, didn't really do much after that, man. And he was bricking a lot of shots too, man. He shot
poor decision making.
Yeah, 20% from 3, jacking up some tough shots. Like, obviously, the defenders on the Milwaukee Bucks, Wesley Matthews on DeRozan, and Drew Holiday.
Ooh.
That dude's unbelievable. That dude did nothing on offense, but defensively,
still got
my Lord.
Worth all the money. He's worth all the money.
That $100 million, man, worth every penny. Because this is why you get a guy like that to defend these all-star caliber players at the perimeter who dominate in isolation games. And Drew Holiday just made it tough on Zach. Like, if you look at the entire Bulls roster, the only guy who shot efficiently was Kobe White, who shot 50%.
And that is unheard of for the Bulls because Kobe White's usually the inefficient one.
Yeah, man, I'm just like looking at this roster. I'm just like, Tristan Thompson. Nah, he trash. He got 9 minutes. Probably gonna get 0 minutes soon because that dude's god awful, man. Like, he got one nice tip in, but that's pretty much it. But, like, not gonna lie, I thought it was gonna be a sweep, man. They had a chance.
They did.
They got my hopes up. They got me hyped, man. But what I gotta say is, P-Dubs, please show up. That FSU product, sophomore,
go nose,
6'8", 220. Physical guy.
There we go, people.
You gotta show up, man. The paw. I can call you the paw unless you get double-digit points, man. 5 points don't deserve no nickname.
It's only one paw, dude.
I didn't even know that was his nickname, Paul.
Yeah, the paw.
The paw.
Like
a dog paw.
I hate to break it to you, you might be waiting for a while, man.
No, stop. I know. I ain't patient, boy. Do you know why? Because I'm looking around the league right now, watching every playoff game. I look into the left. Oh, Anthony Edwards, second-year
about
player,
him.
looking
We'll
like the
talk about
second
him.
coming of Michael Jordan. I look to the right. Jordan Poole, the third Splash Brother, making a rain, man. Are you kidding me?
Has one of them missed an extended amount of time in those 2 to 3 years they played?
Man, who cares, man? Are you kidding me? I just see mentality, bought together, aggressive, non-passive.
Well, he's also playing with arguably 3 all-star level players.
What Jordan Poole playing with? He's playing with Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins.
He earned their respect when they weren't on the floor.
Poole's been in the league since 2019 too.
Yeah, he's in his third year.
The brother was in the G League, man. And look at him now. What a beast.
Because he carried when they weren't there. So then they were like, okay, you deserve to get the ball now. Patrick Williams didn't do that.
Plus two, Zoo, you got to also think the quality of player. I'm not saying Poole wouldn't be like if Patrick Williams and Poole switched positions, Poole wouldn't be going off. But playing with Steph, Klay, and Draymond, all those other guys, that makes you more effective.
When you watch Jordan Poole play, it ain't dumb. It's all Jordan Poole,
he's
man.
Good, but
his shot making ability. He has improved so much from last year to this year, man. His ball handling, he has better ball handling skills than Zach Levine. From what I watched, Jordan Poole has better ball. His dribble, his handle, his creativity, his 3-point shot range. My Lord, Jordan Poole is something special. So I'm looking at these young players with minimal experience, no playoff experience, ball out, and I look at the number 4 overall pick with the Chicago Bulls getting me 5 cinco puntos, man. Cinco puntos? Are you kidding me?
Wait,
cinco? Not. Oh, come on. Not 20 cinco puntos? Are you kidding me, man?
You want 20 out of Patrick Williams?
Yeah, I want 20. Come on, Come on, P Dogs.
I think you may get that 20 in a maybe like the closeout game where it's like the Bucks are up 25 or something. He may get you 20, but in terms of impactful 20, I don't think you're going to get an impactful. You're not going to get a. I don't think you're going to get an impactful 20. I will say, though, if the Bulls somehow can manage to get that game, this next game, it could get interesting because I feel like the Bucks
going back home.
They feel like it's. I don't think they're taking the Bulls serious. So that means on the road, the Bulls can maybe still win it. It could kind of get interesting. But I think, if the Bulls don't show up in this next game, it could be. I think I said gentleman sweep. It might be a sweep because then the Bucks fans are going to go crazy and go 2-0. But I think transitioning it to because the other Eastern Conference teams we're going to bring up in our next discussion, but want to really real quick talk about the West, and I think the most interesting series out there so far is the Memphis and Minnesota game that happened. I think it was on Saturday. For me, like just when I was watching the game, like periodically, like I didn't watch the complete game, but I was like checking in on it, and I was looking at it, and it kind of felt like Minnesota never gave up the lead. They kind of just stayed ahead of the Memphis Grizzlies a lot. And when I watched the game, I think it goes to all of our theories, which we all believe. Like they have the best players, Minnesota. Like their top end talent is just better. Like and you can't argue it because they have 2 number 1 overall picks. And people forget about D'Lo, he was a number 2 overall pick. So just on the top end talent alone, Minnesota has that. And when I was watching how Anthony Edwards was moving around on the court. He just does not care that anybody on that floor had this amount of wins, has these stats, was in the contention for defensive. He don't care about none of that. He just goes out and plays, and it kind of just has the like aura of he's a number 1 pick. And it doesn't matter that he plays for the Timberwolves. It does not matter that that team historically has been bad. He's the number 1 pick, and he's proven like I can be the best player on the court. And I think part of me too with the Grizzlies, Ja, I love him to death, but just like following some of his stuff on social media, I kind of hate that he's like he did the Jordan thing and he's like saying like I'm ready for revenge, and it's like Memphis, they talk a lot. They talk like they've been there in the conference finals every year, and it's like dog, y'all got to get there and actually stand like how Devin Booker had to do it last year. He got to the finals, so now Devin Booker, him popping off doing whatever. Well, he's got a little bit. He's been to a finals. Memphis, you got to go do it. And I hate to break it to you, you're not the most talented team because at everybody's apex, Minnesota has the better talent. Carl Anthony went for 60. I don't know how many months ago. Like, who on your team in Memphis is doing that? And it was funny watching Ja, just like not funny, but just like observing Ja. Like, you could tell Memphis as a team was getting definitely. It was just a lot of Ja driving the bodies and get picked up and get to the free throw line. It's like that's not a you can't do that.
That's what they try to do to get back into a game.
Yeah.
But when your two second best players are shooting Triple J atrocious game. I know
Fouls too much too.
Desmond Bane went 5 for 15. I mean, I thought the Timberwolves just came out with a better game plan and they were making shots. I mean, if you're making shots, Cat puts up the same amount of points that he put up against the Clippers in the first 6 minutes. I mean, I personally thought he bodied Steven Adams. And I thought a lot of people...
Steven Adams got benched.
He was
getting destroyed, man.
Couldn't play.
So I guess the only thing I will say to it is and everybody loves to do it. They overreact after one game. Yeah. If the Bulls had beat the Bucks, I probably would have been Bulls in 6, But that's my team, right? But if you're watching these two teams objectively, you're not a fan of either, or maybe you were looking at the Celtics knocking off the Nets, saying the Nets are out, whatever. I think that at the end of the day, the team with more chemistry, and you could argue experience. I know that they're both very inexperienced teams, Grizzlies and T-Wolves. But I think maturity-wise, the Grizzlies are a way more mature team than the Timberwolves are. And I think that will play into how they adjust going into Game 2. I think the Grizzlies are a better defensive team. I think that they'll put in some better adjustments to at least contain Cat. Ant's going to get his. He jacks up 28, 29 footers at will, and you're not going to step out right up into his face. He's not Steph Curry, but you still have to play up on him. He's going to get 30. You need to contain D'Lo and Cat and just allow Anthony Edwards to do his thing. And I have faith the Grizzlies will do it. I think they'll still win the series, but I think it's going to go to 6 or 7 now at this point, just watching how the Timberwolves came out and how they put up 130 on one of the best defensive teams in the league.
That's a lot impressive. Of freaking points, dude.
On the road.
And Grizzlies had more free throws. Yeah. Way more free throws. Mm-hmm. So it's like, all right, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. This number 1 overall pick, man. This is what Andrew Wiggins was supposed to do for them.
Yes, he was.
This is what Andrew Wiggins was supposed to. Anthony Edwards. Not gonna lie, I don't know how to see this guy in his interviews, man. This guy's got the swagger. He's got the charisma, man. He's got the intangibles, man. He's a likable dude. He got that confidence to him, that just enthused confidence to his teammates and stuff like that. Something that Andrew Wiggins just never had. No. Andrew Wiggins, quiet dude, no charisma, boring. That's why he's a 4th option on the Warriors, man. That's where he belongs. But Anthony Edwards,
all-star.
He's a potential superstar. He's a potential superstar in the next. This dude dropped 36 in his first career playoff game. 36.
Who else did that?
D Rose and Luka Doncic and Kareem. This is unheard of. He showed up. He shot 12 for 23 from the field. He made 4 threes. His 3-point shot has improved. That was his big weakness. College people said in college that he was just not an elite shooter. He's improved his game, high volume shooter, but he can hit threes. His jump shot got good form. By looking at his jump shot, he's got good form. His ball handling. He's got great ball handling skills, man. His shot creation ability as a 6'4", 220 type of guy, physique. Mm-hmm. My God, Anthony Edwards, dude, Timberwolves got. Dude, this guy might be the best player in franchise history since Kevin Garnett. I said it. Dude, I'm just this guy. This guy already. He will be better than Karl Anthony Towns. This guy as a lead guard, it's such a nice compliment because Karl Anthony more of a softer side. Anthony Edwards, that dude's a dog, man. That dude, man, this guy could went on to interview and be like, man, I won't go for defensive player of the year next year. That's what he said, man. That's what the confidence that this dude has because athletically, he has no weaknesses. There's nothing lacking athletically. If he mentally puts something to it and tries to get better, he's going to get better at it. And as you can see, man, my God, this dude. What could have been if he dropped to the Bulls, man? What could have been? Oh, but Anthony Edwards, man, this dude's the reason that this
Tom Crean recruit right there.
Yeah, my God,
out of Georgia.
That's the only thing Tom Crean did good at Georgia. Honestly, that's literally the only thing he did. Yeah, and he got Anthony Edwards.
And I'm sure he doesn't want. And I'm sure he doesn't want a public how he got Anthony Edwards there too. That's supposed to be.
And I guarantee you, he probably sold. I guarantee Tom Crean. Well, outside of location. Because Georgia is the school in Georgia, especially for sports. But I think he probably sold him on the D-Wade thing, too. D-Wade. They kind of are similar.
They did talk about the comp. D-Wade was very high on Anthony Edwards. He even compared himself to him because athletic guys are attackers of the rim. But my God, this is going to be a series. I thought it was going to be like a 6-game series, man. I got to push it to 7-game series now. Like, my goodness.
Especially if Minnesota gets this game tonight, because then I think Memphis is going to be like, okay, we're in panic mode. And they're probably going to go ham for the next 2 games. This is going to be a seesaw back and forth. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know, are the Memphis Grizzlies fool's gold, man? Like, are they just a regular season team? They have the chemistry. They outwork everyone.
Yeah.
They're like outworking. That doesn't happen in the playoffs because everyone's trying in the playoffs.
Everyone's trying.
Everyone's rested. Everyone has a mentality of winning. So you just lose that advantage. And like I said, top talent wise, like I don't know how the hell they won 56 games. I don't know how.
Like you say, they tried harder.
Yeah, exactly.
They tried
but
harder.
still, 56 games, that is unheard of for a team of this talent level. Like, John Moran
without their
all-star
star for 6 weeks or whatever.
Exactly. I'm just like a bunch of role players just kicking ass. And right now they're playing against a team that's Pat Beverly, man. He got some special sauce to him.
I didn't even mention him,
man.
I don't know what it is.
He got special sauce, man. The Clippers team, now the Memphis.
And he makes like key little. He always makes key little like shots. I feel like threes where it's like if they're up
he hits
4,
open threes.
Yeah, he'll hit like
14 or 15.
Yeah,
if he gives you 14, your team's winning. Yeah. If Patrick Beverly is giving you 14 points or 15 points, and he's doing everything else that he usually does, you can write that game off immediately, man.
Memphis is in that weird space where we all know about the playoffs is about stars, and Ja is the ultimate superstar right now. But their guys are. They don't have like that second guy who's maybe a star.
They need a complimentary wing player. That is not a role player. Like Desmond Bain, Dylan Brooks, they're nice like role players, man. They know their role, play defense, hit open threes, but John Moran, man, I think they need a secondary wing guy.
You know what they should have done? They should have been involved in the CJ McCollum trade talks. I'll say it. That would have been a nice little addition. I know we talked about this in the past. They didn't want to break up the chemistry that had them going in the regular season, right? That's kind of what it seemed like. They weren't going to make any deals at the trade deadline, the Grizzlies. And then Ja gets hurt, right? But if they had added CJ McCollum, especially with how
that's very interesting.
Not saying they'll make noise against the Suns in the playoffs, but he has been playing very nicely for them down in New Orleans. That could have been a solid option.
Especially if they wouldn't have gave up, like if they just would have gave up like maybe picks and like one other guy or something.
They would have given up probably Dylan Brooks.
Yeah, I would have gave him up for that. Yeah. And then, like you say, their team is still deep enough to where they still would have that defensive mentality. And you have a bona fide star. Like, he's not a superstar, but you have a star in CJ, which would, I feel like, in those crunch moments where everybody's keen in on John, you'll have somebody that you can't leave just open.
Yes. That's I didn't even think of that. That's a terrific thing. Secondary ball handler, great shooter, veteran presence, efficient guy, high skill, playoff. Like, this guy's made the playoffs every single year of his career. So he
hasn't always played well. But
let's see, him and Dame wasn't the greatest fit. Plus, I don't think the Portland teams that Dame and CJ won't.
Nah, they just play the Warriors every year, so they kept losing.
Well, yeah, that too.
That's fair. I can't hate on that. But man, I never thought of that. But that would have been a terrific fit.
Sean, I know you got a question for us, but I do have to give a quick shout out to Jalen Brunson, man. I got to watch this kid play in high school.
40 ball.
He was at our rival high school, Zoo and I's growing up.
Oh, yeah.
Got to watch him, obviously, get that championship dub at Villanova. And now watching him step up in Doncic's absence. Honestly, a very similar game, I think, for the Jazz. Mike Conley going 0 for 7. Definitely.
This is why I hate Mike Conley, man. This dude's the most overrated. They're like, oh, boo-hoo. He didn't make an all-star team. Let's give it to him. Stop it. He ain't no all-star, man. He ain't no all-star, man. He ain't no all-star. There's a reason why. What?
And he got cooked.
Oh, yeah. Dude, he's so old now. Like, his defense is not there. His offense is not there. Like, didn't I tell you guys about the Utah Jazz being fraudulent? They're like the Atlanta Hawks team, right?
They gotta.
This Utah Jazz team, man, lots of noise coming out. Lots of noise about Donovan Mitchell's relationship with Rudy Gobert. They don't like each other. Donovan doesn't like Rudy Gobert. You can't have your two best players hating each other. Boom. One of them might get traded. Might be both if they go entire rebuild. So they got that going on. They got their head coach rumored of going elsewhere to the Lakers or some other team. So you have all this drama. And they lost to the Dallas Mavericks without Luka. They lost to Maxi Kleber, dropping 8 3 balls, man. Because they can't contain dribble penetration, man. he's the Trey Man that, or the not the is he Trey Man? Who's the guy in front of the Clippers? You talking
Terrence
about
Mann?
Terrence
Yeah,
Mann?
Terrence
He's
Mann,
the
yeah.
Terrence Mann of this series, man.
That's
get the
true.
he's the
popped off
guy
last year.
that shoots threes to get Rudy Gobert out of the paint in the corner three, man.
Yep.
That's what they did. All they did was Control C, Control V, copy paste the Clippers playbook,
For real.
work like a charm. Like Quinn Snyder's like, oh, I don't know what to do with my defensive player of the year, man. Donovan Mitchell, man. Oh man, I don't think him and John too similar.
They would not get along.
Yeah, him and John are way too similar.
Too ball dominant, yeah.
Ball dominant, athletic, bucket getters. No way, it's not gonna work. But my God,
Shout out Brunson, man.
Utah Jazz SOS, man, because they just lost to a second round pick point guard, man. That's what happened.
Brunson, I don't know. What is this deal? Is he due for contract?
Potential new
about to get
contract this
paid.
year, man. He's gonna get at least probably $20 million for a second rounder.
He's gonna get something nice.
Good for Jalen Brunson.
On one game, man, I'm happy for him. Not one game he's played well, but this was a solidifying game.
Yeah,
for him
especially
getting
in the
a contract.
playoffs. Because last year he struggled. This year, a 40 piece. Jesus.
And it's really encouraging too, because if the Mavericks somehow pull this series off and Luka's able to come back in the next series, that all of a sudden switches a lot of dynamics in the West. Yeah, that switches a lot of dynamics in the West, because we all know what Luka can do, and I feel like Luka's kind of chomping at the bit. He's due. Luka's due, and I hate that he got injured, but he's due not saying he's LeBron, but why? Like all of a sudden we're looking up a couple weeks from now or a month from now, like why are the Mavericks in the finals? Like what the hell? Like how did they beat the Suns? It's because Luka had such an explosion. He's due for that. So it's like if Brunson can give them anything, it changes the whole dynamic of the team. Yeah.
And if Cleaver's hitting threes, man,
Davis Bertans. So every time I see that guy on the NBA roster, that dude sucks, man.
It's a trigger. It's a trigger.
We need to get our
so bad.
Our weekly David Bertans.
Yeah, David Bertans. If he just happened to if somebody in his camp happened to listen to this podcast, they'd be like, bro, they either hate you or love you either every other week. We don't know what's going on.
We love to hate you.
Yeah, but yeah, just speaking of, I guess you could say Jalen Brunson is kind of a younger guard, and he's due for a big payday. There's also some other guards in the league that are in the playoffs, and they're just kind of exploding beyond, what most thought would be. I guess most people, the teams would tell you that they saw this coming, but I don't think a lot of people saw the explosion from these guards. So I kind of thought of a question today that I wanted to ask the guys, just in terms of this particular playoffs. Which guard, and the guards I'm talking about is Tyrese Maxey for the Sixers and Jordan Poole for the Warriors. Which guard do you see? Because it's how the series looks so far. Teams could come back, but how the series looks so far, those teams have control of those series and they're going to move on. And I hate that I said that because I might jinx them. But, how would you see with both of those guards, who do you think would have a bigger impact as the series go into the semis and then, the finals and maybe in the NBA finals? Which guard would have the more bigger impact on the team winning? And Zoo, I'm gonna start with you. And disclaimer: we all know where Zoo is going.
Yeah, man. I do recall discussing a potential trade back in the day. You're like, take Tyrese Maxey. I want to keep Seth Curry, and I was like, what are you smoking, boy? Are you kidding me? Tyrese Maxey, man, has all-star potential, man. This dude is lightning quick.
I don't know if you said all-star. I don't know if you said all-star potential, Zoo, but I'll let you keep going from there.
Yes, I did, man. I said this dude got a potential star, man. Seth Curry is a nice role player. This guy is a potential star. And it is, man, this dude as a second-year, my God, this dude as a second-year player, man, is a better scorer now than James Harden. I don't know what happened to James Harden. James Harden's scoring ability, it's gone. Can't blow by anyone one-on-one anymore. James Harden cannot blow by anyone for layups. This guy just relies on three-point shooting and getting to the free throw line to get buckets now. He's still an unbelievable passer, but he's going to be more of a true point, while Tyrese Maxey will be the primary wing scorer. And that's what they needed, man. This dude, Tyrese Maxey, man. I'm telling you, man, as a quick guard that could jack up, dude, his catch and shoot three ball, massive improvement. This guy, my God, they are lucky to get this guy. This guy, Clutch knows what's up because they got Tyrese Maxey, man. And this guy,
they got a roster Clutch.
They're going to get hella pay because this dude's going to get a max contract when he's eligible. This dude's going to be one of the most important team for the Sixers post James Harden, because Harden's showing his age now. And as a perimeter guy, their lead guard for the future with Joel Embiid is a nice 1-2 combo. My Lord, Tyrese Maxey, and this year, Toronto Raptors right now completely injured. No Scotty Barnes, outmatched talent-wise. They got no shot anymore in this series. So the Sixers should take care of business playing against Miami. Yeah, they have a chance to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. Their roadmap is right there. It's right there because I'm not completely sold on Miami, and I think the Sixers have a high-end talent with James Harden and Joel Embiid, so they should be favored in that series. So
I agree. So, Azu, I'm going to agree with you. I would rather have Tyrese Maxey, but I'm not saying – I think you're taking it to the future. I'm looking at, like, these playoffs specifically and looking at Jordan Poole. If Curry comes back and actually starts, I think it'll just – I don't think his efficiency will go down at all. Heck, they might even keep him in the starting lineup. Who knows? Mm-hmm. But I do think that with Curry back in the starting lineup – I mean, look, he gave you 34 off the bench in 23 minutes last night. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Haven't been done since the 50s. That amount of points in 20 plus minutes.
Yeah, unbelievable. Ridiculous. And I'm not saying that that'll take away from Jordan Poole's ability or game, but his impact on his team, it was huge when they were injury ridden. And it obviously is important for the team for him to continue progressing and keeping his consistency. But if you're looking at Maxey, Zoo, the trade that they made for Harden, man, the winner of that trade was not trading Tyrese Maxey. James Harden is obviously there and he can hit his threes and he can get to the free throw line. But he gave 14 and 6 last night? I know it's the Raptors.
His efficiency so bad.
It's so bad.
They are lucky that you got Embiid balling, Maxey ball. Even to give a shout out to Tobias Harris. One of my most favorite players. But he's playing his role, dropping 20 points. That's your role on the team. Yep. So James Harden's getting overshadowed. Yeah, his teammates are covering up for him, sucking it up. Because when you watch James Harden play, he sucks right now scoring the basketball.
So if Maxey takes any dip in his productivity, I do not see them making the Eastern Conference Finals because of how pivotal his near perfect gameplay has been. How long can he keep that going? I don't know. The Heat are one of the best defensive teams, if not the best defensive team.
That's what's scary about that.
And PJ Tucker, Jimmy Butler, they have multiple guys that can shut him down. Or at least give him a little welcome to the NBA playoffs moment in a non-COVID year. Okay, so I do think Maxey is more pivotal to the Sixers' success and how well he's been playing. But I think that Jordan Poole will keep his team more relevant whether or not he keeps that consistency because of the people that surround him. So I do think how he's playing right now has been way more crucial to his team than Jordan Poole's is to the Warriors.
Yeah, so we'll see, James, I think the problem with him is not only does he not look explosive, it's just not consistent. It's not consistently in every playoff game, you just mark James down for however many points he's going to score, and he's usually going to get that, and he's going to get to the free throw line.
Pick the under right now, man. Pick the under.
He's just not, for me, I got to see him do at least. And I would like to see it in this series, maybe for the next 2 games against the Raptors, knowing that Scotty's hurt and they're not full strength. I need James to give us at least 2 games of dominant play. Maybe another 3rd game in the next series, and then be like, okay, James is back. But like you say, Tyrese Maxey, his play is definitely crucial for the 76ers because he's playing like their second best player right now, and it's not close. No. So for me, it's like
Tobias is 3rd.
Yeah, Tobias might be 3rd because Tobias has been, he's the 3rd or 4th option, but he's been quietly doing what he was paid to do. So, I think Poole, for me, Poole has this type of game where he has just the shot making ability is just unmatched. It's just insane. You could just tell he's been spending time around Steph and other guys on the team.
He is Steph Curry light, man. That's what he is, man. Because the way he plays, very similar. I don't know if you guys watched the game last night. He had this nice step back. I was like, oh my God, this dude is unbelievable.
He's good with both hands too. He's very good around the rim with both hands. Yeah. So shout out again to the Warriors scouting department. They just always seem to find guys that can score.
Late first rounder,
7th year in a row. Shout out.
And the thing that's not even Jordan Poole's not even. I mean, they picked him, but he's not the guys that he picked this year. If they get anything out of they get stuff out of Kuminga, but the other guy Moses Moody that they drafted, if he becomes a star, they're just going to have infinite scorers on the team. Now Jordan Poole's going to demand a crazy contract soon, but I think
he'll be wanting the max, man.
Yeah, he probably will get it because just any guy
play.
Yeah, but I don't know. like you say, I would do it if I was the GM, but I mean, I don't know. Clay's got that fabric within the Warriors,
Yeah.
And Clay hasn't been awful. So it's like if Clay was playing
he's been
not
playing
bad,
He's
if
been
he
dropping
wasn't
20.
playing good,
He's been scoring.
Age
He's been
difference.
scoring.
he's
At that
been
point, it's
playing good.
future.
So so it's like you'll probably just keep Clay. But if I was Warriors, I'd try to get something for Clay. But Jordan Poole to me has the lead way to do what he needs to do on the court, and I kind of just feel like he's going to make more of an impact and be more, vital, because if the Warriors end up beating the Suns, having that third guy as just a legit just go off score, that's going to be really important because you know what Steph's going to give you. You kind of know what Clay's going to give you. You know what Draymond's going to do defensively, and you have the other pieces around. But if you got three guys, like just having another guy that can score, that might tilt it in Golden State's favor to get them to maybe win that series because Jordan Poole is just going to give you the amount of shot making that you don't have. Like I say, with Tyrese, I don't
Sean,
think
I need to hear it, man. I need to hear it, man.
It.
That was some blasphemy you were speaking about Seth Curry, man. I want to hear it.
Listen, first off, all right.
You compare them, man. You compare them, man.
No,
I'd rather have Seth Curry on my team than Tyrese Maxey.
I'm going to let you go because you really confused everything that we talk about. What was our original argument? It was about Thibault and Seth Curry. It wasn't about Maxey. Thank you. It was not about Maxey. You brought up Maxey at the end, but nobody argued Maxey and Seth Curry. We argued Thibault.
Oh, no, we can rewind the tape, man.
People just agree. People just agree.
We can all agree that Tyrese Maxey is balling out, and that's all we have to say about it.
I mean, dude wants to pin it down, but he doesn't remember arguments.
I remember because you said as a franchise you rather had Seth Curry because he's an elite starter shooter.
He did. He played well in the playoffs last year. Yes or no?
Yeah, he played well. But I said he was a nice role player, man.
So I compared Curry and Maxey. I didn't compare Curry and Maxey.
Yeah, you did. We'll look at the tape later.
Well, guess what? If Maxey continues this, just like you say with THC, if Maxey continues throughout the entire playoffs, you'll have a point. I want to also hear that energy if Maxey goes 5 for 12 or goes 4 for 10. I don't want to hear, he's got to continue to do it. If he continues to do it, then you'll have a point. That's what I'm saying.
His consistency is more important.
And guess what? Role players always play well at home. Let's see him put up 40 on the road in Game 3. I want to see that.
40? You don't need 40 against
the
Raptors.
He's the best. He's the second best player. Exactly. Anthony
Edwards, man. Are you kidding me? They got Joel Embiid, man. He only needs 20
because
points for
isn't playing well. Another guy that you said they won the trade with.
Who?
James Harden, that you said they won the trade with.
Oh, they did win the trade, man.
And if they're going to win,
we got Ben Simmons with injections in his back, man, trying to get back in the game, not playing, man. They won the trade.
Maybe they won the trade, but I'm saying, okay, so you do believe if Maxey, the second best player, they're going to make the finals?
Yeah, no. I think it's possible. Yeah, it is.
No, they're not. We can almost put money on that. No, they're not.
Drew Holiday would destroy him.
Exactly. They're playing the Raptors. Who on the Raptors can guard anybody?
They're a good defense. What do you mean? They're a good defensive team. That's the only reason they're in the playoffs, man.
OG Anunoby's a good defender.
OG Anunoby's an elite defender. VanVleet is good for a small defender. Pascal Siakam is a good defender. Their entire roster is all 6'7", 6'8" guys with long arms.
He can't guard any guard.
They're all elite defenders. That's the only reason they're in the playoffs. Not their shot.
I just think it's great.
That's why they gave up 131 points in game 1.
I don't know. Zoo does this. It's like, dude, he's a good player, but you can't go crazy over 2 games because it's the same thing. It's the same theory. That's like, even though THC's not the player, he went for 40.
A regular season game to a playoff game, bro.
40.
There are levels to this. If you do it in the playoffs, it matters more than the regular season.
2 games
when the season is over, bro. You're talking about a game with
2 games in the playoffs against the Raptors.
He dropped a 40-point game. He dropped a 40-point game in a regular season game. That didn't even matter. They're playing for nothing.
I'm saying it's 2 games with Maxey. So he's an all-star because of 2 games in the playoffs?
I'm just saying he's a potential star. That's all I said.
You said all-star. That's what you just said. All-star.
Yeah, he corrected it.
You didn't say, and then you said star. So you get to change the narrative. I'm just saying, if he continues it through
all-star synonyms, man. Synonyms.
If he continues,
CJ McCollum's never made an all-star game.
Exactly.
Fact. But Mike Conley has. And Andrew Wiggins. I don't know, man. It's arbitrary.
It's like I said, I listen. I'll give you. I know what I said in the argument. 2 games, cool. But if he keeps continuing to do this, then I'll give you a point. Even though that wasn't what we argued, I'll give it to you.
We'll rewind it. We were making hypothetical trades. That was the argument.
It was.
And you said you'll give up.
It was post-production, boys. Just an FYI. So
yeah,
there is no evidence of it.
What?
I already tried to find it. Zoom.
What? I'll find the tape, man. I want the tapes. I want the tapes, man.
I specifically remember we was arguing Seth Curry and Thibault, and I said I do not want to give up both. And then you threw in you wanted to keep Maxey, and I was like, okay, whatever about Maxey. But the center of the argument,
John just disregarded him.
Yeah, I didn't care nothing about Maxey. Like
he was like, oh, I don't care about because nobody. I mean,
nobody cared about Maxey. Like he's had good games, but like
February.
Exactly. That's why I said if I was the Brooklyn Nets, I would ask for Maxey. That's why. That's my point.
Maybe that was your argument. I don't know. I don't think
that was my point. That was my argument.
Yeah.
I didn't want Seth Curry. I wanted Maxey. And you're like, okay, take him. I was like, okay. Yeah. And boom. I was like, I won the trade.
Like you say, if we're looking at it right now and how it looks, especially with how Seth and I mean you could say Drummond's probably been more of a better
he's been more valuable because
he probably won't be maybe in this series because he's kind of been a little bit.
He just gets in foul trouble. He gets in foul trouble. Claxton plays more than him. Claxton.
Yeah, but like you said, okay, it's like okay, like to end this, Maxey, if he continues to do this, the credit will be due. But we also, if you want to go ahead and call people out, if he doesn't shoot well and doesn't do all that, I want to hear like you can't then jump to he's a young player. It's more about James Harden. No, he's now in your eyes, he's the star. So he's going to be on this podcast looked at as a star. So he better give us 20 plus for the rest of the series. If not, he's not doing his job. Because he might have to, because James Harden, the guy that you like, is not doing it.
No, if they lose, man, if he scores less and they keep winning, they don't need the scoring.
He's about to score 20 points because I don't think Harden is going to
show up, man. It's all about what the teams of the needs are, man. Because if Joel Embiid dropping 40, 50, you good. Just feed the beast, man. Feed the beast because Embiid
first round, boys. It's only the first round.
Exactly. Dude, it's the freaking first round, and the best player is not going to be hurt. It's hurt. Like
the conference finals.
Wow, this is where people show up at the playoffs, man. I don't care.
It would be
first round, third round, NBA finals, playoffs or playoffs is a different physicality to the game. So when you show up at the playoffs, it matters a lot more than a regular season game.
We're just saying it's early. No. That's all.
Yeah, it is early, but we're
very early.
We're seeing some shining stars, man. We're seeing some shining stars.
Yeah. It will be my luck.
Jordan Poole, Tyrese Maxey, Anthony Edwards. We're seeing some shining stars. I'd give you 40 points.
Brunson will be
that's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive.
Against
he won't be
teams.
Oh yeah. If Luka comes back, he won't be asked to do 40.
No, he won't need to. No, he'll be secondary, primary.
But he needed to do it, and he did it.
Yeah, exactly. He stepped up, man. He stepped up. It's all about what your team needs, man. It's all about what your team needs.
Exactly. It will be my luck if the Hawks, even though I don't think they're going to win that series, it'd be my luck if the Hawks somehow get to the second round because Trey goes berserk. It's just going to then further the whole like 76ers and prolonging. I feel like James Harden like not showing up. Because I think James Harden, if the Heat get there, is going to have to show up in the next round. So, I don't know. Hopefully the Heat do what they're supposed to do, and we do get the 76ers. Because I also think there's a little bit of bad blood with Butler. That'll be a cool little story.
Got 21 in the first half right now.
Yeah.
JB?
Yep.
Man. Yeah.
What a beast.
Yeah.
What a beast.
Jimmy Beast.
We're going to see, like you say, it's still early. The NBA TV game, which I don't understand why it's on NBA TV, Memphis and Minnesota, is going to be another one we're going to have to watch because that could get real dicey if Minnesota goes up 2-0. But, the playoffs, everybody's going to be, having their different storylines in the playoffs, and we're going to be tuned in for all that. So make sure you tune in to bullheaded_pod on Instagram and all the other social media platforms, Twitter, I would say Facebook as well. NFL draft is going to be next week. Like you say, there's not a lot of star power, I would say, with quarterbacks. So if you guys have kind of been looking for that NFL type of stuff, NFL draft stuff, I'm sorry. But we will be figuring out a topic or two to talk about with the draft. Guys got to also understand it's the NBA playoffs, so that's kind of the most important thing that's going on right now. So we're going to be figuring out things for that. We'll decipher some questions with different types of teams and things of that nature. So tune in for that. Make sure you look at all of our DSPs, Spotify. We're on Anchor as well, where the podcast is distributed. That's really important to state. Apple and Google Podcasts. And for me, Zoo, and P. Bush, we're out.